Yo, what's up guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. Tensura x COTE, The God and the Genius by Tempest_Moon. Chapter 13, Puppet Rimuru Pov. It was early in the morning when I woke up. When I looked by my side, Seal was already gone and went back to my imaginary space. Morning, Seal. Good morning, Master. After a few greetings, I stood up from my bed and heads towards the bathroom. I washed my face by the faucet and dried it using a face towel. I went up earlier than usual, When I looked at the clock, it was 5 o'clock in the morning, so I have a plentiful time to spare before going to school. I prepared my meal for the morning and placed it on the table, but when I was starting to eat, some called my phone. An unknown number, I picked up my phone and inspected who that was. It was not in my phone history, so got curious and pressed the answer button. How are you doing, kid? The voice was familiar to me and I've heard it a couple of times when I was still on that facility. How did you manage to enter the phone system of this school? On the other side of the line, I heard the man laughing slightly by my question, but he suddenly calmed down and replied. What are you talking about, Rim-chan? Have you forgotten who I am? No, that's not the case. I still remembered your voice, but it took me by surprise when you suddenly called out of nowhere. I heard him chuckle before replying to me. That's good to hear. I thought you've already forgotten about your uncle, but it looks like my worries are unfounded. He sure is still the same, isn't he? You didn't answer my question, Uncle Yuno. It's simple for me to enter any kinds of devices, remember? I told you that I am a hacker, right? Yes. Ray-sensei often told me about the adventures of your old group, and he's always so enthusiastic when relaying those memories to me. When I was still small, Ray was always by my side, and he always enjoys talking about his friends who he regarded as family. He's always happy talking about the great things they did with their crew, but the content of their enjoyment is not something you can call legal or something. Ha ha ha. I guess Raymond would tell you about our crew. We're once the greatest heist group in Los Santos, you know. I know. I've heard about it so many times now. While recalling all of the memories with my interactions with Ray, I asked Yuno about something. Anyway, what's your group's name again? We're called the Clean Bois. Back in the day, we clean banks out of their money without getting caught. It was quite fun when it lasted, you know. I was exasperated on how casual he admitted that they do crimes while we were talking on the phone. You sure it's a good idea to say that out loud while on the line with me? Ha ha ha. There's no need to worry. This phone call is hidden and secured, and I already jumbled the signals, so chances of us getting caught is non-existence. Is that so? Well, I guess I could trust him on that. You seem confident. Why did you call me Uncle Yuno? Changing the topic, Yuno started talking to me in a much serious tone than before. I called to inform you that Mr. Lang might take you back to the black box sooner than you think. Take me back, What for? I'm here in this school because I was sent here by Ray. He wanted me to bring down his arch-nemesis son and return later to the black box. But now that I got my freedom, I will never return there anytime soon. Did he tell you the reason why? I asked him curiously on the phone, and he replied back at me immediately. No, but I heard that the black box have been successful in their experiments on the kids and they want you to train those children. Foo. I can now understand why he went on his way and tried to contact me privately. This school is very tight when it comes to school visits, but they don't really disallow visitors to come in. But when someone did visit the school from the outside, they are required to be escorted by the staff of this school around the campus. I see. So that's why you tried contacting me in private, We can't really let anyone know about our operation because it can cause a whole lot of mess. Well, other than that, I just really want to check on you, that's all. So he cares about me that much? Yuno was much kinder than anyone I know from the black box, and he's usually the one I hang out with when I'm bored in there. Thanks, Uncle. I'm happy hearing from you again. Anyway, can you relay a message to Mr. Lang for me? Sure, what is it? Please tell him that I'll return after 3 years. Also, please say I'm planning to give him a gift after I'm done here. Foo-ha-ha-ha. How does a masterpiece sound for a gift? I kept my cool while trying to subdue the erupting laughter that is stuck in my throat. A gift? What kind? He asked curiously to me, but I held my tongue on replying. It's a surprise. I'll bet he will be thrilled after seeing it. He didn't pry any longer and just said his goodbyes to me. I see. I'll relay him the message. So take care while you're there, okay? Of course, uncle. Thanks for checking on me. After that, our connection was stopped and his number totally vanished on my phone without any kind of trace. He sure is a good hacker, isn't he? Seal, what do you think? Yes. He was renowned as the cheat code by his peers and his abilities cannot be underestimated. That's a fancy title. I finished my breakfast and took a bath. After all of my preparation are done, I head out towards my dorm and started walking straight towards our class. But after I stepped outside the elevator, I sensed Kushida's presence around me. I stopped on my tracks and called out to her. You can stop stalking me, you know. Whatever you might try doing is going to be pointless. When I called her out, she showed up in front of me with an annoyed look on her face. Good morning, Kushida. I can see that you're quite active this morning, huh? Give it to me. When I greeted her, I only received a low commanding tone which was intimidating for someone who is weak. Give it to you? Why would I do that? I said give it to me. Now she's shouting. Her eyes looked like bulging out as she gritted her teeth. You look pathetic, you know that. I don't care. Just give it to me or else. She's that desperate to clean her name. Looks like she's far too good to be manipulated. Or else what? She sharpened her gaze towards me and tried intimidating me with a threat. I'll kill you. I smiled at the sight of a desperate Kushida in front of me. She's far too different than the Kushida I knew from the first day of class, because now she's showing her true colors. Fuhahaha. Is that a threat? Fine, I'll give it to you in one condition though. Hearing my offer, she calmed down, but she was still glaring at me. Now that you've calmed down, how about we head to my room and have a coffee? If we reached consensus, then maybe I'll hand over you the tape with no problem, so what do you say? She didn't respond and just stared me down. I started walking and she followed me from behind. While we are at the elevator, she keeps sending me death glares, but it didn't make any effects towards me. Kushida, I noticed that you have dark rings on your eyes. Did you get enough sleep? To lighten up the mood, I started a conversation with her, but she didn't seem to like it. Why do you care? Hurry up and give me that tape. Take it easy, will you? Geez, you're going to get old faster if you keep acting like that. With my comment, Kushida's stares only got intense and I can't help but to laugh at her. Your eyes are gonna hurt if you keep staring on me like that, you know. We got out of the elevator and reached my room. I opened the door and entered the room and Kushida followed me inside. Welcome to my humble home. Here, take a seat, will you? I offered her a seat, but Kushida remained standing with no emotions in her eyes. Your feet are gonna hurt if you keep standing there, so sit down. I'll brew some coffee for us, so wait there a bit. When I turned my back against her to prepare our coffee, Kushida then launched at me in her full speed, in which I didn't even bother to dodge. You hag. Die. She pinned me down on the floor and I was laying upside down when she started choking the life out of me. Her eyes were filled with murderous intent while she looked down at me. Foo. Let's get this party going, shall we? I tried pushing Kushida away by wiggling my body and grabbing her arms from behind my back. It was a success and I've managed to turn my body around. But this time, Kushida hurled again at me and she was successful on grabbing my neck while she was sitting on my belly. Someone. Please help. I shouted the best I could while holding her hands. I hate you. You're going to pay for what you did. She said as her grip is getting tighter and tighter. Now cry for me, Tempest-san. Beg for your life while I break that beautiful face of yours to the ground. She laughed like a psychopath while holding my neck. This time I let out a few tears on my eyes while I was begging her to free me. Look at your sorry face. Ha. I bet no boys will fall for you now with that look. Her voice was so loud it almost broke my eardrum. She kept her psychotic smile on her face while looking at my tearing up expression. Please. Anyone save me. Muffled rough sobbing was made by me while I wailed my arms. Kushida then gave me a sadistic smile when she told me. You're not that tough, aren't you? Ha. You act strong, but you're nothing but a weak little girl. My eyes was already getting blurry as I continued to struggle. Sheesh. She's completely enjoying this, huh? You're crazy. You pretender. How could you do this to me? I tried my best to shout those words even though my throat was completely getting crushed by her hands. She gave me a menacing smile and replied to me. Because I hate you. I hate you. I hate you, so why not just die? It took a couple of minutes until I slowly stopped fighting back, my hands fell on the floor and my breathing completely stopped. This is all your fault. If you didn't snoop around then this might not happened. When Kushida noticed that I was no longer moving, she stood up on the floor and started shouting on my lifeless body. You deserve this. She then started kicking me with full force on the stomach. She kept going for another minute until she finally stopped and searched my things. Looks like her hatred towards me are that bad. Maybe I did it a bit too far when I provoked her with that recording. Her search didn't last that long. She finally found the tape I was hiding on my drawer and took it and ran away from my room. Seal. You made this room soundproof, right? Yes. There's no need to worry. What a drag. Well, I guess my plan still worked. Kushida Pav. I just killed someone. Running on the hallway of the dormitory, I ran straight out of Tempest-san's room and bolted towards my own room, which was not that far away. I hope no one saw me coming out of her room. While I was planning my revenge on her yesterday evening, I checked all of the possibility of cameras installed near her room, but I found nothing. She really is an idiot for inviting an enemy to her own room. When I reached my room, I opened the door quickly and locked myself up inside. While I was getting my breath back, I looked at my hand which held the tape recording that can possibly change my future in this school. Thankfully I got this at the end. I feel satisfied that I finally found the tape that has been haunting me last night. But even though I finally got it, I felt a dark emotions coming from deep within myself. I just killed someone. I'm lucky if no one noticed and I'm happy because I finally got rid of that person, but I lumped on the floor without any of my strength left on me. I'm a murderer now. I must keep this a secret to everyone else. I don't feel bad hurting Tempest-san. In fact, I think she deserved everything I did to her. She talks like she's above everyone else, which I totally hated about her. Yeah. I don't need to feel bad. She deserved it. After calming myself down, I moved towards my bed and started playing the tape recording on my hand. When I pressed the play button, the sound it made was not something I expected to hear. Less than foo 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 foo. Fool. You really think you can just easily take the tape recording that holds your dearest secret? Greater than? What is this? I replayed the audio recording again and again, but the words on it was still the same. It was the same tape I saw when she showed it to me in school while playing it, so I was sure I got the right one, but she tricked me by placing an identical recorder out in the open? I said out loud while anger and fear filled my mind. Anger because she played a trick on me, and fear due to the fact that I do not know what to do now. I need to go back there and search her things more. Finding my resolve, I rushed straight towards her room, which was still open. I didn't saw any students as it was still early in the morning, but I was nervous to say the least. Creak. When I opened the door I expected to find Tempest-san's lifeless body, but I was completely wrong. I saw her sitting on a couch facing me while wearing a smug look on her face. Took you long enough to come back. She was sitting there cross-legged and her arms spread wide open on the couch. How are you still alive? Out of panic I asked her loudly, but she just laughed at my question. Foohahaha. So you really thought I died? Dismissing my worried expression, Tempest-san stood up from her seat and took the remote control. We still have time, so why don't we watch something for a bit? She said as she invites me to sit down next to her. You really didn't understand your lesson, haven't you? You think I wouldn't choke you twice? You really would do that? She asked curiously on my threat. Why is she not intimidated? I almost killed her, so why? She kept smiling like I didn't even hurt her earlier. After thinking for a while I understood something. She's underestimating me. I'll make her pay for that. Anger boiled within me. I approached her position in a fast pace while stretching my arms to reach her neck. You'll die this time. When I got closer, she simply grabbed my hand, and the pain I felt after that made me fall on my knees. Erg. What is this? The pain I felt ran across my body and it made me weak to even stand. Listen here, Kushida. Playtime is over, so why don't we watch what's on the TV? When I looked at her eyes, I felt fear. It was like staring at an abyss filled with monsters inside. What are you? She smiled and grabbed my body up and forced me to sit down on the couch. My hands can't move anymore due to the pain, but Tempest-san didn't even care. She played what's on her TV and what I saw completely drained the blood on my face. Less than welcome to my humble home. Here, take a seat, will you? Greater than. On the TV, Tempest San was welcoming me on her room. She moved further inside and looked at my direction. Less than your feet are you gonna hurt if you keep standing there, you know. I'll brew some coffee for us, so wait there a bit. Greater than. The TV played a video with Tempest San and me inside this room. I can still recall what will happen next due to the fact that it just happened earlier before I left. Less than you hag. I'll kill you. Greater than. After that, the video showed Tempest San struggling to get up while I was choking her down. She pleaded for help and begged me to stop, but I didn't let go. Soon after, Tempest San stopped moving and I took the tape and ran out of her room. Man, that was an interesting video, isn't it? What do you think? She asked me casually while I was having a panic attack. How did? I asked with a strained voice, but she only grinned at my face. How? It's simple. This room is wired with hidden cameras, you know. I did that to catch burglars when I'm not around, but what I caught was far more intriguing, right? She started chuckling while explaining it to me. My heartbeat was going wild and my brain is racing from fear. Please, I'll ask you this once. Delete that footage, I said as I gathered all the remaining strength I have left. I clenched my fists that are still feeling the pain from her grasp earlier and waited for her response. How about no? Rimuru paused when I said no to her. She launched at me while aiming at my neck again. But this time I grabbed her arms and pinned her on the couch. You're a feisty one, aren't you? Charging at me like that every time would get you nowhere, I said as she struggled to get away from me. She let out a heavy groan as she tried to bite one of my arms. Let go of me, you coward. Fight me fair and square. I chuckled at her provocation and tightened up my grip. She screamed loudly, so I buried her face on the cushion of the couch. It's still early in the morning, you know, and the students from the other room might be bothered by your voice, I said as she desperately tried to catch a breath. When I removed her from the cushion, she gasped for air like her life depends on it. Listen her, Kushida. I'm not a bad person, so do me this favor and I might try not to report you to the police. You think I'll let you do that? I'll kill you this time and I'll make sure of it, she said in a hoarse voice. She tried breaking off my grasp but did not succeed. You know that this video can get you in prison, right? If I send this to the authorities, your life would be over. She stopped fighting back and listened to me. Kushida, I'll make you a deal. If you stop antagonizing me and start cooperating, then I might as well forget about this. But if you still continue to bother me with your crazy attempts of revenge, then I'm afraid the least of your worries are expulsion. She didn't respond and I continued to talk. Think about it, if we work together we can reach greater things, you know. Why would I lend a helping hand to a monster like you? Fuhahaha. You don't have a choice. I guess you do, but you'd probably don't want that choice. She just attempted homicide inside my own room and I've got plenty of evidence to back me up. My acting earlier is superb, am I right, Seal? Yes. I've also did a great job restraining myself from obliterating this girl out of existence earlier, so Master should give me a praise. Are you pouting? Well, you did a job, Seal. Thanks for holding yourself back. When I was done talking to my partner, I let go of Kushida and sat down next to her. Hey Kushida. We can be great buddies if we cooperate with each other, you know. I don't intend to do you any harm unless you're not hostile towards me, so you can trust me on that. When I closed the TV, I heard Kushida say in a low tone of voice. TCH. Fine. I understand that I'm no match for you. Kushida repositioned herself and looked me straight in the eyes. I really do hate you. I hate you to the bone. But I'll cooperate with you if you promise to not tell a single soul about that video. Good girl. I promise I won't. I held out my hands towards her, which she reluctantly accepted. Let's work together from now on, shall we? I'm hoping to make good memories with you, Kushida-san. We shook hands. After that whole mess, both of us headed towards our classroom together side by side. Fu. You'll make a good puppet, Kushida-san. I'm counting on you. Kiyotaka Pav morning classes started and on my side was Horikita, who seems unsatisfied for some reason. What's wrong with her? While I was busy thinking about what made Horikita's mood sour this morning, someone called out to me. Good morning, Kyo. Rimuru arrived at our room with Kushida. Both of them smiled at me, but only Rimuru greeted me. That's weird. Why are they together? Good morning to you too, I said with an expressionless face. Good morning, Horikita-san. Rimuru then greeted Horikita, who looked like in her own little world. When she finally noticed that someone addressed her, she reorganized herself and sat straight on her chair. Good morning. What can I do for you? Her reply made Rimuru smile awkwardly. Nothing. Just telling you good morning, that's all. That's so? Then please don't call out to me if you don't have something important to say. Rimuru tried to be friendly, but Horikita, who was being herself, replied with blunt words to Rimuru. Kushida didn't say anything though and just kept quiet. This isn't going to work. In middle of the awkwardness, I was dying inside while being stuck in a situation I don't really liked. Okay then. Sorry for bothering you, Rimuru said while turning her head towards her own table, and Kushida also did the same. I looked towards Horikita, but she looked like she doesn't care about Rimuru's feelings at all. That's too bad, but I guess that's none of my problem. Unexpectedly, while I was lost on my thoughts, Horikita called out to me. Ayanokoji-kun. I would like to conduct another group study session later, so I need you to gather those idiots for me again. And there she goes bossing me around again. I'm fine doing that, but I think it's probably hard to bring those guys around again. You chewed them out on our previous study session, remember? I reasoned with Horikita's absurd request. But she's not backing down. I only did that because they didn't show enough motivation to study. But I guess I went a little bit too far. So that's why I'm asking you to bring them back, because I'm willing enough to give them another chance. How though? I'm sure that if I ask Pseudo again, he'll probably beat me up this time. While I was racking my brains out, I noticed Rimuru sitting in front of my table, and that gave me an idea. Hey Tempest-san, are you busy later? Being called out of the blue, Rimuru suddenly looked at her back and faced me. No, why? Are you asking me on a date or something? How did she manage to get that conclusion? Sorry, but I would like to ask your help. She didn't seem to care about my rejection and just continued to ask me question. Okay. So what do you need? Before I gave my response, I glanced at Horikita for a moment and saw that she didn't have a problem with it. Would you mind helping us gather those boys later for a study group session? She smiled at me and nodded. Sure I can. I'll bring Kushida with me to help out, is that okay? Rimuru looked towards Horikita, who nodded in agreement. Well, that settles it then. We will meet after class later. After she said that, the teacher arrived at our classroom and began our morning lecture. While I was at a daze, I suddenly remembered something. That's weird. Why would she include Kushida to the study group after that incident? And why are they hanging out earlier? I looked at her back and I can feel a tingling feeling inside of me. Did something happen without my notice? If something did, then what is it? My alarm system on my head are going off in high alert. I looked towards Kushida's seat and I noticed that she's not looking good somehow. Rimuru, what did you